Today, we're taking you through the 7 different ways that we've made money living full-time on the road for the last 1,040 days in our 4x4 truck camper, traveling the United States, Baja, and Canada. We're going to take you on a deep dive into how we make ends meet while taking you along for a full day in our lives while working at one of these 7 different jobs we've done over the almost 3 years of living on the road. Every morning that we've been waking up working here, I'll tell you where that is later, we get up and we head to beautiful Planet Fitness so we can get in a workout and a shower as part of our morning routine. While we're on our way to the gym, we're gonna go over one of the 7 different ways that we've made money while living on the road. And in my opinion, it's probably the worst of the 7.
I don't know if I would actually say it's the worst of the 7. It's definitely the least paying job that we've had. However, it gave us the most diversity and experience. We worked with a company that has an app called WOLO.
WOLO is a job app that basically circumvents payroll. It allows companies to hire people for
individual shifts, 1 day of work. The first job I had with WOLO was in Salt Lake City when Eric did one of his stints here for a few months 2 years ago. So I worked with a company called Prometrics. They do testing for different individuals, whether it be doctors, insurance agents, and I did the fingerprinting aspect of the job. So every day I'd go in and I would fingerprint. I did that for approximately a week on and off with WOLO.
Other jobs that we've done for WOLO were things like we've worked at 1-800-Flowers where we unloaded semi-trucks.
2 of them, and it was probably 1,700 boxes in a total that we unloaded that day.
Another one that we did, we kind of actually split up on this day. I worked at the Phoenix Zoo in a concession stand while Marissa worked at
an airport hospitality catering facility. They would load up the carts that would go on all the different airlines, and I was a janitor at that facility. I walked 25,000 steps that day. It was a big one for me.
And the one WOLO job that we did enjoy the most was while we were in Oregon, we got to work at Timberline Lodge, which if you're a movie person, you might know from the movie The Shining. The whole outside of the hotel was what they utilized for the film, and then the inside of the hotel in the film was actually different than Timberline Lodge. But we were working there cleaning hotel rooms, and we did that for 3 days. And that one was great because it gave you a lot of experiential value. You were able to stay up by Mount Hood. When you got off work, you got to explore Timberline Lodge. They have a nice restaurant there, a bar area, and you really got to have a bunch of fun after your work hours, unlike most of the other WOLO jobs. What did we make, on an average 8-hour day?
$150.
Yeah, I would have said between $130 and $150 for the day, depending on which place it was that you were working. Now, one thing I have noticed with the WOLO is Marissa picked up on it actually the other day.
All states don't offer WOLO. It might be a state to state or a county to county restriction, but not all places that you go, WOLO is available for day work.
I think the reason for that is states are realizing that companies are just kind of using WOLO to avoid having to hire full-time staff. It allows them to probably get out of payroll taxes. It allows them to get out of offering employees amenities for that job, like health insurance and 401ks, all because you're able to do it through an agency, basically. So that's our first way that we've made money on the road. And like I said before, it's the least attractive of all the different ways. It's money in the bank and it keeps you from going out and spending money throughout that day, so it works.
And it's experience. I really enjoyed the experience, even if I was a janitor. Another way that we've made money on the road is by Rovering. What Rovering is, it is a pet sitting service. So it's an app that you download on your phone called Rover, and you sign up, and then you can do individual day walks. You can have pets stay in your home, or you can stay in the pet's home. So if people are going away on vacation and they want their dogs to stay in the comfort of their own home, you can apply to just go into their home and watch their pets. So that's what we choose to do. We choose to offer to stay in the home so that we can have the comforts of, say, an Airbnb, but we get paid to be there. So it's really nice for us as nomadic travelers to be able to rover when we're in certain cities. I've done it both in Salt Lake City and in McCall, Idaho last summer. So I've rovered for both cats and dogs, and it was a great experience for us. So I highly recommend you check out the Rover app if you want to make some extra money on the road. And another option that's the same type of service is WAG. Out of the 1,000 days, 1,040 days that we've been on the road so far, this is one of the 7 ways that we've made money.
One of the best parts of this area is when you walk out of any store, including Planet Fitness, you have mountain views everywhere. Boats right now, just trying to optimize where we put things for everybody's work day. If you're looking at this boat and laughing at me for having to work on it, good, I don't blame you. So this one, I wanted to break down into some basic categories here in hopes that I cover all the bases surrounding this job, as it is definitely the second largest source of income that we've had while we're on the road. So breaking it down into who, what, where, when, and why. Who is Premier Marine? What is a boat dealership? Fair warning, there's kind of gonna indirectly end up being some additional whys while I'm elaborating on the what, where, when. Boat repair is something that I've done for my entire adult career. I went to school in Florida to Marine Mechanics Institute back in probably 2008. Ever since then, I've worked in boat dealerships. And with having worked at the dealership level in the boat industry for 12, 13 years prior to going full-time nomad, without sounding cocky, I've got a decent resume for showing up at a boat dealership. And it's pretty easy for a boat dealership to rationalize allowing somebody who's transient to come in as a service technician, because you can just hand them a work order and off you go. Whereas with, say, boat sales, which is something that I kind of evolved into doing over time back in New Jersey, that's more difficult because you have to develop customer relationships, leads. It's not as easy as it is to just be given a work order and hope that that person knows what they're doing with the boat. So the where on this job is south of Salt Lake City. We're in a town called Orem. It's a semi-industrial area littered in with the land of LDS, which is Mormonism for those who don't know. Mormonism 2.0. Hey Zach, can you lower the port side motor? Good. So the when for this job has been over the course of the last 3 years, every spring, from usually April until May. The first year was the end of March until the very end of June. So that was the longest that we'd been here. Every time since then, it's been less. But we came back in October of 2022 and did 6 weeks here from like September until the beginning of November. And this year, we're probably gonna do the same. That timeline for me being here in Salt Lake in the spring and fall works out pretty well for the boat dealership too, because that's when they need to get all these boats in the water, get people's problems solved and add-on accessories installed. And then in the fall, it's a narrow timeline between when the weather goes from boatable to freezing. So they can kind of use all hands on deck at that point in order to try and get everything winterized safely and quickly. So the answer to why we came here and why we keep coming back, that's gonna be the longest one. The first reason is because they were hiring. How did I find the job? I just used Indeed, a normal job website like a lot of them. We happened to be coming back from Baja after our first winter on the road, and we were in Colorado. I had an Icon pass. We were trying to catch the last tail end of ski and snowboard season, and I was also simultaneously looking for a job that was in an area where I could work on boats and then go skiing on the weekends. Originally, I'd looked at Denver, so we were in Colorado, and I found this job on Indeed, and I'm like, Salt Lake's got a ton of ski resorts, so let's call them up. So another benefit to the why factor of coming here in terms of hiring and stuff is over time they've also become willing to find ways to help Marissa stay busy and also make some money while we're here in Salt Lake. The other day, for example, they needed a document drafted up for DocuSign, and so Marissa did that for a couple hours, which adds to our overall funds. Oops, wrong way. Wrong way, Jose. So not only were they hiring, but also it's the best I've ever been paid to turn wrenches on boats. I don't know whether it's just the financial climate of Salt Lake and the lack of boat mechanics in the area, or the fact that Premier, in terms of the ownership, are relatively new to the world of marina ownership, so they just don't have an arsenal of existing mechanics. I've yet to find a place that will pay me better for my time than here, so we just keep coming back. Oops. We didn't have the spark plugs in stock for this thing, so 2 trips into the bilge. Another reason on the why list of coming here to Premier Marine over and over again is the location. Between the weather being pretty darn perfect when we come here in terms of time of year, and things like proximity to an airport for if Marissa has to fly home like she did last week. And so the other really nice reason for coming here to Premier in the springtime or when we're migrating is because it's geographically central in the western part of the country. One summer we went to Oregon from here. The following summer we went to Idaho from here. And for our summer destination this year, which we'll tell you about at the end of this video, it's also very geographically central for getting to our destination for this summer. Since I can't get this in right, I'll talk about it. If you have an engine with spark plugs and it's a pain in the butt to get at where the spark plug hole is with your socket, take a piece of fuel line, slide it over the end of the spark plug, thread it on in there, hopefully. One of the many perks of living at your job is when it's time for lunch, you just walk right into your camper and you have a delicious meal, in our case a healthy one, made by Marissa. Homemade pizza in our Omnia today with a base of chicken.
So it is a rotisserie chicken pizza. So it's the rotisserie chicken you would get at Costco. And then I blended it up in our blender and I added in Parmesan cheese, crushed hot red peppers that we have, and a little bit of mozzarella cheese. While I'm eating lunch here, I'll continue to hit you with some of the why reasons for choosing to come back here. One of them is there's a lot of free attributes of work camping, and if you can find the right place, them allowing you to live somewhere without any cost to you. Here at the beautiful Premier Marine, I've got the ability to park here anytime we need to, plug in the camper and run the fridge off of electric, unlimited water. So all of the things that would normally be challenges you'd have to overcome on a daily basis are solved for you. In years past, when Premier was at the smaller previous location, the garage doors were big enough that I could pull right in. So if the weather got crummy or cold, just bring the camper in for the night, and then we could kind of live outside of the camper in the shop and do stuff. It's not truly free aspect of being here, but I've definitely driven way less. In the entire month we've been here, I have filled up my fuel tank one time. I keep just trying to dodge going back to do these spark plugs. First it was lunch, then it was helping Zach with something else, and now I'm just gonna suck it up. The next benefit of doing some sort of a work camping gig is the ability to take time to do maintenance and repairs on your vehicle. Here, because we're in a full shop setting, I'm able to do a lot of things. While we've been here, I routed the diesel heater fuel line into the fuel tank, which meant dropping the tank, oil change, transfer case fluid change, upgraded my intercooler pipes, all sorts of little projects that you're able to do while you're here stationary. Just an absolutely miserable boat to work on. Quick shout out to whoever at Mercruiser back in the early 90s decided that they were gonna do exhaust manifolds that were so big that it blocks your ability to get to the spark plug. So you gotta use needle nose to pull your spark plug socket off after you've reinstalled the plug. You can't get your hands in there. So while I do this next spark plug, talk about another nice perk of being here at Premier Marine or at any kind of work camping, working gig is you get to develop a routine again. How's my face? Getting to have a routine of going to the gym and going to work, waking up early and having a reason to do it is all a part of this lifestyle that people, I think, find hard to recreate in a similar manner to regular house life. And so for me, this month of being here at Premier allows you to kind of recharge and reset. And that ability to recharge and reset helps you stay enthusiastic about the time that you get to spend traveling and kind of doing the more, let's call it vacation-y aspect of this lifestyle, and not just the real grind of making money and stuff like that. Found one more little thing I can do to round out the rest of the day. I'm supposed to put these little fins on the side of this trolling plate. This will also give me an opportunity though to tell you guys about the last set of whys we keep coming back here to the beautiful Premier Marine. And it's because it's a good place to work. I enjoy working with these guys. They've become friends of mine at this point. Everybody's super supportive of the YouTube thing. Bridgie's watching this at home with his buddies on the couch. Don't let Riley take that vape out of your pocket too close, buddy. During our time here, I've gone to the shooting range with my coworker Zach, and we're gonna go Friday night with him and his wife. Over the weekend, hung out with my manager Bridger. Went golfing with him and some of his buddies. It's good to be able to have consistent relationships and friendships throughout your time on the road
that it's nice you can come back to over and over again, which is another benefit of Salt Lake City as a whole, because a lot of nomads are constantly coming through Salt Lake City as it's a migratory route for people that are going to be headed north for the summertime, and maybe you don't want to go through California because the fuel prices are super high. Other reasons that I'll just not name in order to be not negative about California. Switch to the other side. And so I think my last and final reason why we keep coming back here is they've kind of left me an open door policy for working. This go around of coming here to Salt Lake City, I think I text messaged my manager a week, maybe 2 ahead of time, just saying, hey, I'm gonna be coming through your area. And since I kind of knew that the open door policy answer would likely be yes, we planned our route for coming here to Salt Lake City for a month. Hopefully the customer loves this accessory that he brought us to put on. All right, let's go inside and see if we can find Bridger and interview him about how it kind of came across when I called up and told him, I live in my RV, but I'd like to work for you. Bridgie! Perfect. Bridger's mocking me just in time for me to come over and interview him. Come on, Bridgie. The people need to know, what were your thoughts of me when I called up and said, hey, I live in my RV, but I want to work for you?
A lumberjack.
Is that what you thought? You thought I was going to be a lumberjack?
Yeah, you're wearing a cute film handle.
Come on, quit walking away from the camera all shy. What's your favorite part about working with me?
Your good jokes.
All right.
Yeah.
What'd you think of what I put on your computer monitor the other day?
I can't say that on YouTube.
This is Bridger's office.
Yep.
So this is pretty much how our days end here, just sitting in Bridger's office talking shit. And just like that, workday over. It's a rough commute when you live at work. It gets very taxing mentally with all the traffic. And we're home. Some days after work we do fun stuff, other days we deal with our poop. While we're dealing with our poop, we're going to tell you about one of the ways we make money on the road, and that is through content creation. Now, content creation is the thing that financially generates us the least amount of money on the road on a yearly basis for now. We've done some different UGC projects. We've had some stuff where companies have paid us to do a review on their product. Other ones, it's create some short form content for them and give them the rights to it, or have us post it on our own social media channels like Instagram, TikTok, which you should be following us on both of those, and Facebook. All of them at The Cummins Camper. Getting pretty good at not showing that to the camera. Ooh, that is a lot of bugs. Sometimes you get flies in your compost. This was a bad one. Another way we made money in the past is by working for Moonshade, actually. So this isn't like a consistent thing in our lives, but friends of ours were working for Moonshade, and there were 3 events that we did for Moon. It was Northwest Nomads, Tiny Fest, and Adventure Van Expo. And we did them all over the course of about a month or so. Got to explore parts of California, Oregon, and we had a blast doing it, but that's just one of the ways that we've made money while traveling on the road.
Close your eyes, hear the voice within, calling this heavy load got under your skin, howling. You got the white knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your feelings bottled up inside, heading for collision in the night to really live you got.
So the 6th way that we make money on the road, and the one that makes us the most amount of money on a yearly basis, is our Airbnbs and our Airbnb Management. So we own a property in New Jersey on a lake, and we own a condo in Vermont at a ski resort. The New Jersey property, the beauty of it is it has typically summer revenue at its peak dollar amount, and then our condo in Vermont is the opposite. So in the wintertime, we've got great revenue coming in from that. The shoulder seasons do okay, and that's actually why Marissa especially goes home in the spring and the fall. I go home some years in order to do things like replenishing of supplies, maintenance on the house, reorganizing all the linens, getting our house recertified for short-term rentals in our town. One of the perks for Marissa to be able to go home is to spend time with friends and family, and then also to get to eat some of our local delicious New Jersey cuisine.
When in New Jersey, you have to get yourself a breakfast sandwich. I personally like sausage, bacon, pepper jack cheese, and egg on a gutted bagel or scooped, taking out the insides.
So for our Airbnb management, we manage a handful of other properties that we don't own. We do essentially all the same work that we would do for our own house and our own condo in terms of the Airbnb side of things for other people. You have a property, or you know somebody who has a property who's interested in having somebody manage it for them, shoot us an email, thecumminscamper@gmail.com. Outside of going back and restocking the house and doing all the maintenance that Marissa does twice a year, on a daily basis, most of our job pertains to answering questions from guests, approving bookings, making sure that people have adequate previous reviews in order to approve them to stay at our home or one of our customers' homes, managing the 3 different cleaning companies that we work with in terms of the schedules that pertain to each property, dealing with handymen, repricing calendars and adjusting them accordingly based on holiday season or the fact that the date is coming closer and it may not be rented yet, so we want to adjust the price down to try and fill those calendar voids. If you were interested in having us do your property management for a short-term rental, Airbnb, VRBO, one of the things that we'll do is come out to your home and actually make sure that it's Airbnb ready, do things like adding some decorations, giving advice here and there in order to try and facilitate making sure that you're gonna set yourself up for the best success as an Airbnb owner. And then we also create the listing, bring in a photographer to take professional grade photos, use specific keyword search terms in your listing, find the cleaning company in your local area and manage them accordingly. You actually make money off the cleanings. So that is our 6th way and our biggest way that we make money on the road. If you're interested in staying at either one of our homes, the link for each one on Airbnb will be in the description below. Good morning. Well, I fell asleep last night and forgot to give you guys our last and final way that we make money on the road. So far, it's really been Marissa who's done this, serving. So last summer we traveled to a tourist destination in Idaho called McCall, and Marissa got 3 jobs serving tables at 3 different restaurants. This summer, we will be headed to Colorado. We are going to be working at a resort in a town called Almont, Colorado, serving tables, both of us working together. Hopefully we'll be able to make a whole bunch of summertime income, and that way we'll be able to fund more future adventures. But for now, just want to say a big thank you for watching this video, being a part of our channel. Be sure to subscribe, like this video. Bye.